welcome to episode 25, everybody. I never thought we'd make it this far, and apparently we did.
Oh, I'm glad that's the new beginning of the show, because if people heard the pre-show that we just had, I don't know if anybody would ever listen to the show again.
Well, I'm telling you, like the pre-shows, we'd probably have a lot more listenership if we put the pre-show in there.
Yeah.
What you should have is one show, all of the pre-shows from all 25 shows, and people probably listen to that more.
Yeah, and then
Yeah,
Steve
but
Jobs would
unfortunately,
call
the
me.
FCC would kick us off the air.
There is no FCC. It's open.
Oh,
What's Steve Jobs got to do with us?
This has nothing to do with recording over the FCC-controlled airwaves. You're all good then. You can swear.
freedom of speech.
Yep.
So Jim could say shit again.
Hey, Mark, tell them who we are.
And thank you for having a third beginning of the show, Mark.
I said ship. We could have ships again. We could talk about ships.
Okay, take two. Mark, tell them who we are.
We did that last week.
We should do that.
The Reader's Digest version.
Yes.
Brent is a lonely, bitter man.
Yep.
And actually, Jim and me wrote this book, CopTalk, several years ago because...
Jim and I.
Yeah, Gemini. Like Gemini, the star.
Take three?
I'm just saying. Take three. Mark, why don't you tell them who we are using correct grammar?
All right. Jim and I wrote this book several years ago because we got tired of going to calls and seeing the same things over and over and over. And anyway, Jim is a deputy sheriff, and he's been one for off and on over 20 years. I'm a city cop, been city cop with the same agency for over 20 years.
Rub it in.
You could read all about our different things that the positions we held, K9, whatever, in the book, or on our website. Ed used to work at the same agency as me, and then he went to prison.
And now he rides motorcycles. So there you go.
No, Ed went out on a medical. Went out on a medical retirement. Went out on a medical retirement, and then Brent is a reserve sheriff's deputy. And he puts light bars on the tops of police cars and sirens.
Light bars.
Yeah. You know, honestly, I think this will be the last time you do the intros. So I'm glad your lights bars are all good.
Yeah, so are Jim's bed bites.
Yeah.
Oh, guys.
So tonight's episode will actually be on a topic that I know more than all of you combined. So.
Wait, I got to do in the news first.
But we're not getting... Can you just hang on? Okay, so tonight's episode is going to be about the technology of the cop car and what you guys wear and what we all wear every time we go out and do patrol, and how it's changed from when you guys started, which was, 100 years ago, to now.
Oh, I did better than that. I've got a list of changes.
Well, I'm glad.
Yeah, we'll be able to fill the show up with that.
Well, that's good, because just new technology would fill the show, so we have a lot to talk about. So if you would like, you can now do in the news.
Tell me when, Brent.
Now.
Now? Oh, okay.
13 minutes and 47 seconds. Good to go.
Now, first off, we have all police departments have their beat boards where the stuff that happens during the night occurs. And besides seeing all the burglaries, the thefts, and all the preventable stuff that every day I drag through, this is just another one I saw today. At 22:32 hours, which is 10:32 hours, officers stopped a stolen vehicle in the 200 block of Shadow Hill Circle. The vehicle had been stolen the previous day from a nearby apartment complex, and the female driver was found to be in possession of multiple shaved keys and a stolen credit card. The female had also been arrested by a neighboring police department 1 week prior for vehicle theft and possession of shaved keys. The male passenger is currently on parole for being an ex-felon in possession of a firearm, was found to be in possession of stolen property to include a wallet, credit cards, and identification. People, these are the thugs and the criminals that are cruising your neighborhoods nightly. I mean, nightly. I mean, she got arrested a week ago for the same stuff. She gets out, and she's got shaved keys again. She's got a stolen vehicle. They have stolen property. I mean, these people are out there nightly, and you really got to protect yourself from these thugs. Out of the news, suspect caught in the theft of a Seattle patrol car. A police officer had his patrol car stolen Thursday by a handcuffed burglary suspect who had been put in the back seat. It's very embarrassing for the officer, police spokesman Renee Witt said. We're just lucky the shotgun and none of the other equipment was taken. The patrol car was abandoned. Shortly after the suspect took off about 2 a.m., he was recaptured still in handcuffs about 4 hours later near his home in South Seattle.
Oops.
The 33-year-old suspect, whose name was not released, had been caught with electronics during a break-in at an elementary school. He was cuffed behind his back and placed in the patrol car. He managed to maneuver his hands in front of him, then slide through a partition to the front seat of the car while the officer was away for a minute.
Man, that's impressive. I don't know how that dude got through the partition, but okay.
Check this one out. Colorado man nabbed twice for DUI in the same night. A northern Colorado man was quickly arrested twice for DUI, once for driving his own car, the second time for stealing the police car as he waited to be taken in. Adam Segura was being held in Weld County Jail after a brief police chase. The Tribune reported he was handcuffed and placed inside a police car after a DUI arrest. He managed to slip the cuffs in front of him and take off in the car while police officers interviewed a witness outside. Officers chased him for about a mile before he was arrested again. I'm sure there's going to be some changes out of all this about police officers leaving their cars running with suspects inside. Good Samaritan thwarts Wisconsin bank robbery attempt.
You good?
That was a tough one to get out.
Thwarts.
All right.
Good Samaritan throats. What?
God.
Good Samaritan prevents Wisconsin bank robbery attempt. A Good Samaritan has thwarted...
He throated what?
Wow, you guys are so professional.
This is
Hey,
our
bank,
English.
hard to believe we're authors, huh?
Yeah.
Authors?
It is hard to believe.
A robbery in Wisconsin by jumping on an armed man. The Associated Bank's surveillance video shows the man at a counter when the masked robber carrying a gun rushes to a teller at the bank in St. Francis at about 1 p.m. Wednesday. Within 5 seconds, the man approaches the robber from behind. A second later, he puts his arm around the robber's neck and jumps on his back. The robber then tries to run with a man on his back. Police chief says the man eventually released the robber before the robber ran to a car. No one was hurt. Police chief says he appreciates the effort, but police don't want people intervening in robberies. He would rather bystanders be good witnesses. Yeah, we don't recommend that either. If someone has a gun, I mean, people do what they got to do, but we definitely don't recommend jumping on the back of somebody that has a gun. Could easily get hurt.
Yeah, try not to thwart anything.
Hard to say, huh,
Unless you absolutely have to.
All right,
He was
here.
a cowboy. He thought he'd be riding the Bronco Bull or something, you know?
Ed, use that word in a sentence.
Twart. I twart the...
Tort?
I thwarted.
I thwarted.
You guys are screwing it up worse than me.
It wasn't that guy from Open Carry, and he forgot he had his gun on his side because he got so jacked up over the incident. He just jumped on the gun.
What's the correct word and how to use that, Brent?
Thwarted?
Thwarted?
Thwarted.
Twart.
Oh my God.
T-H-W-A-R-T, right?
You know, how did you guys actually write this book?
I don't know. It wasn't with your help.
Spell check.
Oh, yeah, it's not with my help. Yeah, okay, I see how it is. I can just put it on pause right here. Do you have any other stories?
Louisiana, the Webster Parish Sheriff's Office said a bicyclist inching down the center of the road ignored lights and siren and ran into a police car.
Oops.
The 47-year-old Robert Earl Batten of Minden was booked with second offense DWI and possessing marijuana. See, people don't think they can get arrested for DWI while on a bike, but you can. A sheriff's office press release said a deputy tried to pull him over late Saturday after a vehicle almost hit him. The deputy turned on lights and siren, then pulled ahead and got out. Batten passed the officer and broadsided the police car. He was a .27.
Ooh, that's pretty high.
Let's see here. Here, let me... Cow Palace, biker party, and what do you think the third word is in this?
Ed?
Fight.
Goldwing?
On to Gold Wings.
Now, if it was Gold Wings, it would have been a rave party.
Ouch.
A shooting early Sunday morning at the Cow Palace during a private function for a motorcycle club injured 2 people, one seriously. Gunfire was reported at 12:55 a.m. Sunday near the South Hall of the arena, where members of the Bay Area Desperados Motorcycle Club were holding a private party. Blah, 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 blah. It found 2 people shot. A man fled the scene on a motorcycle and was followed by police. The man eventually lost control of his motorcycle on Highway 101 near the Cesar Chavez exit. They later determined he was not involved in the shooting.
That's a bad. I'll give him this. That's a bad corner.
He was
Apparently, also riding a Harley, the front wheel vibrated off and
hospitalized.
That sucks for him.
No, it doesn't.
These guys must ride Harleys, huh?
Yeah.
Didn't he say it was a Harley club?
All you got to say is biker party, Cow Palace, and you
private function.
The third blank of shooting.
Speaking of which, I'd like to give a shout out to the Iron Warriors, and I'm just sitting here watching the minutes go by so I can watch Sons of Anarchy coming on. So thank you.
Oh, are you? Yeah, it's a great show. I love that thing. I tell you.
Hey, do they ride Gold Wings in that, Jim?
I'm just glad he cares enough about the show to care that he's more interested in television than doing the show. But that's okay. It's good. Glad you just admitted that to all of our listeners.
I'll tell you what, I never seen a better soap opera in my life with Sons of Anarchy. Some of the craziest stuff I've ever.
Mark's daughter, my charming little wild child niece, stage name Jackie Daniels. Tell you the reason for that later. But anyway,
I think it's self-explanatory.
She is hooked on it, and just listening to her talk about it, just I thought, man, I'll check it out. So I started watching this season, and I got to admit, it's pretty cool. I almost like it better than The Shield.
What time's it on? 10 or 9?
What is it, Ed? Is it?
Well, I think it's on. I watch the reruns on Sundays, but it's on at 10 o'clock Monday night or Tuesday nights.
That's a very violent show.
It is. It is fun too. I mean, it's like just like, I mean, if anything can go wrong, it's going wrong to these guys. I mean, it's depicting 2 clubs in California, one being they both have high notoriety because they've been fighting each other for years in the state, but they got different names on the show. But they're just getting whooped left, right, and center from all different directions. And
sort of sounds like our Hell's Angels and Mongols.
That's what they're trying to depict in the show. The other sides are called the Mayans and all that kind of stuff. But they're selling guns to the blacks, the Chinese, the Mexicans, and then the skinheads got involved, and they're having shootouts, and people are killing each other for,
And here's a word of advice: when you're pissed off at somebody, don't go out and steal their 5-year-old kid to prove a point.
Yeah, that would be something not advisable.
Well, wasn't the kid 5 months old?
5 months or 5? Yeah, 5 months. Maybe. Yeah, it is 5 months.
Yeah.
5 years, 5 months.
Yeah, whatever.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Next.
Yeah, what are you doing for barbecuing now, Jim? You still got a barbecue?
Do you have any more stories?
No, I'm done with stories. I'm tired of being ridiculed on the show. So.
Oh well, better find another show.
Switch the ridicule over to Jim and his barbecue.
There was something today out in this area. I guess some lady works at home. She looked out her window, saw these 2 guys in a shaky-looking black car going mailbox to mailbox and ripping mail out of the boxes. And that caused a bunch of people to write in on this blog for the local newspaper saying, yeah, we've seen the same thing. And this other woman wrote in that she used to work for the local police department, and they actually had calls where these people in the middle of the night would put black trash bags inside the postal mailboxes, so that when you think you're paying your bills or your whatever, your mail at the post office where you'd think it would be safe, before the postal workers get there, these people just retrieve the black bags and go through the mail, which is a lot easier.
That's a great idea.
I've never heard of it.
I know, but it's freaking brilliant, because the bag's black, you throw it inside, you'll never see it, you fill it up, you grab it, and you walk away.
And I'd never whereas we preach don't put mail in your mailbox, outgoing mail, because these guys go door to door or house to house, taking the mail out of it, just like the original poster said.
Right.
I never would have thought that somebody would go to the trouble to put like a black bag in a mailbox. I'd never suspect it.
Criminals are always one step ahead, and something so simple and so you think stupid could work so well.
And just wait till they get that federal hit when they get caught, because boy, they don't like that stealing mail thing.
Yeah.
All right. Well, if you're done with the news, you want to dive into our topic for tonight?
Speaking of diving into,
Did you
apparently
dive into
Sunday night out this way, I guess a 40-something-year-old woman was found floating in the river next to her home down in the south part of the county on the Delta. And the speculation is that she was partying on a patio boat docked at their house with her husband and friends. And at a late hour, they all just kind of left her there. And then what a surprise, they wake up the next morning and she's floating face down in the river. And, you know, kind of what we were talking about last week with alcohol. I mean, it's okay to party, but you got to party responsible or responsibly. And if you think that you're safe getting ripped and leaving one of your friends or family alone on a boat and that you're going to see them again, it's pretty much rolling the dice. And I don't know what the particulars are, you know, and there's a full investigation going, but you know, the key word is intoxicated and boat, and she should have never been left on the boat alone. But you know,
Yeah, the
sorry
black
to hear it.
plastic bag over her head with the duct tape had nothing to do with it either, right?
Well, that's what I was kind of expecting to read, but.
In the article I saw, it said the husband said that he retired early before her. So
Yeah.
I don't know. Little red flags always come up when you hear that kind of stuff.
Yep.
I mean, I guess if you want to get rid of your wife, the easiest way would be if she's drunk on a boat and you just give her a little bump into the water. And
That's never happened.
Yeah, the autopsy will tell what it was.
Well, all right. So
anyway, technology.
let's start this thing with what you used to have. So who's the longest?
Ed.
Okay, so
Not me. No, I probably the longest involved in law enforcement, going back to '68 or '69, but that's not a positive involvement.
okay, we don't want to know what the back of the car looks like. We only want to know what the technology was like. So
It was back in San Francisco in the '60s. They had one cherry in the middle of the car, a little round cherry, like they had probably for the last 30 years. With that god-awful sounding siren, you'd run in between cars just to get run over so you wouldn't have to hear it.
that was like one light and one siren, and maybe in most cases probably a radio in the car, right?
Yeah, Ford Galaxy 500. No, they had at that time they had the call boxes on the corner.
Okay. So you had to stop and make the call.
Well,
They would get
actually,
out,
Ed's
they-
not
they
going
put their
from
key in a little
experience. Ed's not going by an experience as a cop, and he's going by what he saw in his rearview mirror.
No, that was the San Francisco Park MPs or Presidio MPs chasing me, not the police.
So that was when?
That was back in the 60s.
60s. Okay,
Yeah.
so when did somebody actually begin being a cop in law enforcement?
Well, I mean, I could say
85. And Mark?
89.
Okay, so Jim, what?
He was in the jail for 4 years. That doesn't count.
That doesn't matter.
Okay, what do you see in the jail, Jim?
Well, back then the jail was quite a different place, wasn't it?
When I first started, they had Ford Crown Vics, and some of them had light bars, some of them had the bubble tops. A couple of them had those really cool spotlights in the center of the roof where you reached up, you know, and had a little handle and had to try and guess which way the beam was going if it worked. But there were no MDTs or computers in the car. I memean, there was literally nothing except for a radio, and that was about it.
But you did
Doing
have
it.
radio, at least.
Yeah, there was a radio, and you had a map book. Sometimes if it didn't get lost under the seat, but that's all you had to find your way around was a map book, the radio, and a cage between the back seat and the front seat. In
And
fact,
that cage
the
was...
canine cars at that time were actually just being phased into the sedans. They were actually still using station wagons back then.
Oh, now that's sexy.
Yeah, you lower the rear window, you know, to give some ventilation for the dog, and all you smell is exhaust fumes rolling in the back. So the station wagons didn't work out that well.
Yeah, that's the love of trying to adapt civilian cars to police work, which we'll get into later. But so Mark, when you started, what did you have? A notepad and...
Well, yeah, basically, I had jotted some stuff down when you said we were going to do the topic. We had what they called, at the time, MDCs, where if dispatch sent you to a call, you'd push a button, that would show you that you were code 4, you're okay, or that you were, 1097, which means you arrived or you're en route. It was just a button that you pushed.
And the screen on that thing was what, about 4
There was
by
no
4?
screens.
Oh, no
We had
screen.
They were just buttons. There were no
so
screens,
old
no nothing.
Motorola radios then.
Right, and there were no computer terminals in the car. Anything that the dispatcher dispatched you to, you had to write down all the info. I mean, if you had a robbery, or a burglary with multiple suspects and descriptions, you're trying to write all this down. If you don't have it down.
That status thing, that was cutting edge technology.
Oh, at the time, yeah.
I mean, because your department was ahead of other ones, I assume.
Yeah, you push a button. You didn't have to key up the mic and say I'm 1097. You push a 97 button.
So the theory behind that was to try to minimize the amount of traffic into dispatch.
Right. But now we have computers in the car with screens, and
we're going to get to that. Stay on topic, buddy.
All right, I'll go back to still what we had. Let's see. We used to have to share the radio channel with other agencies. We'd have 3 agencies on the same channel, so on a Friday or Saturday night, you had to plan your traffic stops around the radio traffic, which is so busy you couldn't even cut in sometimes. There were no stolen vehicle ID systems. You had to run any plates over the air through dispatch. You couldn't run them on the computer. Or
did it take forever to get those plates back?
A lot of times, yeah.
Or you just get lost in the.
You're calling it through dispatch. We couldn't run them in the car. You had to run them through dispatch, and when there's 3 channels, that she's dispatching, it would take forever. I mean. You're off duty by the time they came back, said it was a stolen car.
Hey, that dude's car's stolen. Oh, thanks. Yeah, I'm going home.
Reports were all handwritten at the time. If there was a ton of corrections, the page would weigh about 5 pounds with all the whiteout. There was no in-car capability to type reports or anything. Dispatch, if you had to run any kind of driver's license, warrant check, names, anything, dispatch had to do it over the radio.
Okay. So for equipment that you carried, though, what was it? Gun,
pepper spray, handcuffs,
straight stick.
No, the side handle baton.
Side handle.
And it was pepper spray or mace at the time. We had mace.
And Jim, when you were starting out, would you get a club and something else?
They issued 38 revolvers and gave you a straight stick.
Straight stick, okay. So
same thing with Alco. You had straight sticks and 357s.
Yeah. So that's, and then when did you guys start to see the technology changing? Obviously, there's a big gap of technology.
Probably the mid 90s.
And then what did you start to see?
More computerization.
So different radios, different computers, and different lighting?
Yeah, our portables got better, the ones we carry on our belt.
Right.
The radio systems got better where you didn't have to be in a certain part of the county to have, good reception with the repeaters. The cars got better. For a while Chevy was in the mix and Volvo came out with a couple models, but I've been driving Fords for 28 years at work, and they've never failed me, whether it's day-to-day stuff or high-speed pursuits. And that's
Ford saying something with the beating that they get.
Oh, it's incredible, but the cars got better, thanks to Ford, and the computers make things so much easier as far as navigation and getting information about a call before you actually get there. Especially if you're in a 2-man car. My partner Tommy, we call him Captain Intel at work. Before you get to a call, he can tell you who the dude's mother is, where she lives, how many letters he sent her from prison. Just everything, and being able to run a guy through a system to find out, previous charges and arrests and everything else is invaluable. It sets your tone for how you're going to deal with the guy when you get there.
Yeah, and everything, when they dispatch a call to you, everything's right there on your screen. You don't have to ask the dispatcher questions. It's all right there in front of you. Any updates to the call get sent right to you. You could run people, plates, anything right there at your fingertips. And the cars now, they're equipped with low jack systems and LPR units, which are license plate readers. Driving down the road, your car will automatically alert you when you're in the vicinity of a stolen vehicle. And on the LPR units, they'll actually show you a picture of the license plate right on your screen and the type of car that it is. So, it's where you used to have to just look at a car and say, hey, that plate looks kind of suspicious and call it into dispatch. Your car does it automatically for you now.
No, we had an example of that last week. We had it was either a Mercedes or a Beamer stolen, carjacked right out of the parking lot of a Safeway lot down by that South County area where that lady drowned. And the deputy gets there. He's getting the initial information. He's broadcasting the description, of the car to neighboring units. And like 10 minutes later, the helicopter was flying over nearby A-Town and gets a LoJack hit on the car and actually finds the car parked in a rear driveway of an apartment complex. And it was in such a close time range that the suspects were still on scene, but they were on foot. They weren't with the car. But as soon as they saw the first 3 units arriving and the helicopter overhead, they all started running, and the helicopter was able to direct the ground units to make the apprehension. And they had 4 people in custody who all confessed to ripping the car off. And that kind of arrest would have never been made without that kind of technology, and it's just amazing.
In OnStar now, if you get an accident, airbag is deployed, it automatically gives you your location, and they dispatch stuff. We had a stolen vehicle. LoJack called us and said, hey, we got a hit. And they're telling you exactly the direction in the street that this car is on. I mean, because it's all GPS. So we're all swooping in on it, and they told us it was on a certain street in front of a certain house number. And we go there, and we don't see the car at all. And we're looking all over, and OnStar says, no, it's at, this and this address. And so I said, well, if they could do stuff with OnStar like that, I asked them if they could activate the horn, and they said, yes, we can. So I said, activate the horn. And all of a sudden we hear this horn honking from inside of a garage. And I mean, it's just great, the technology nowadays. We went in the house, and there's the stolen car. The guy fled out the back, and he had a really elaborate camera system set up, so he was actually watching us approach the house. But the technology, the bad guys benefit from it as well as law enforcement. They're always trying to stay one step ahead. Well, but like Jim said, years ago, this car, would have been stolen and stripped or something by now, But because of the technology, we were able to recover it.
It's having that data available instantly.
Another thing, I don't know if your cities have it, but the cameras, very few even businesses had good quality cameras even 10 years ago. But now there's cameras mounted at major intersections throughout our city in the high crime areas. Businesses that can afford to buy into the system are installing cameras in their parking lots, like banks. And it's all tied in with our city cameras at the police department. They're all monitored. So if a crime happens, you can go back, you could see what cars are going through the intersections at the time. And the cameras are so good that if they have an officer monitoring it and it looks like there's a drug deal going on, he could zoom in on their hands and actually see the transaction and call into units to swoop in and get them. So, I mean, and a lot of cities are doing that. They have I think they're shot spotters that directs officers at the sound of gunshots. So, I mean, just in the last 10 years, there's a enormous amount of technology that's come out to really help law enforcement.
Well, and most of this was pushed right after 9/11. So, I mean, that's when we saw the biggest push of technology for radio communications, for interoperability, for all these big key words that, people push these days. It was all because in 2001, we have this incident, and then all of a sudden everybody gets off their butt and starts making these huge changes.
But everything changes anyway.
I'm not going to say that's when it started, but that's when it definitely started getting enhanced.
Well, it's because the money started. So as soon as that happened, everything got funded to make all that stuff happen.
But things change anyway. Motorcycles, Kawasaki's, you don't even see them anymore. Now most of them are Harleys or BMWs. When I started, Dobermans Dobermans were the dog of choice of listen to Jim. Dobermans were the dog of choice, and then they went to Rottweilers, and now they're using the Belgian Malinois or whatever they are. I mean, just trends that change.
Yes, so Jim. Jim wants to say something.
I call them Malinois. I think they're Malinois, aren't they?
Malinois, Malinois, whatever.
I think it's a Malinois.
I thought that's what I said.
They're
Till
very
Ed found
good
it funny.
They're very good at thwarting crime.
Thwarting. So,
crime.
Jim, you said something about motorcycles. What? You were saying something. You had a.
I don't care what they say about those big fat pig Harleys. The Kawasaki K1000 was and probably is one of the best police motorcycles in the world.
So you want
I
to
agree. That's what I rode. You could go off curbs, downstairs. That I loved riding that thing.
So you want a bit of inside information?
Cowie's coming back with it's not the KZ, but what is it?
It's
The Concourse?
Yep.
Ah, that bike is sweet.
It's done, and CHP supposedly will be buying them.
And
And it's
whatever
pretty much the same motor, right?
whatever CHP does, everybody else follows.
Yeah, no, it's a nice looking bike. I'll put a picture
isn't
up on the site.
Inline 4? Isn't it pretty much the same motor that they've always had for that?
No, it's a nice bike. It's got their big touring, it's very nice bike. It's pretty much like the ST1300, the Honda, but it's Kawasaki. I mean,
See, all my friends that work motors, I mean, they love the Harleys because they sound cool, they look cool, but man, for day-to-day work, driving that pig around, Mark, you rode one. I don't know how you guys do it. It'd be like driving an 18-wheel truck around on patrol.
No, when they got the Harleys in, I kept my Cowie. I told them I wanted to keep it because we'd go work speed areas and I'd be up up on the curb, and when a car went by, I'd just go flying off the curb and up a curb, down a curb, and the Harleys can't do that because they would drag the pipes because they sit lower. I mean, the Harleys look cool and sound cool, but I'll tell you, those KZs, they're quick. You could do anything on them. So I kept mine. I never jumped on the Harley.
Plus, they always start.
oh, God.
Just started with that one. Hey, Ed, speaking of technology, remember how we used to... Remember how we used to
do you guys have federal radio channels in your cars now?
Do we have federal?
Well, my understanding was as a part of 9/11 that they were trying to get a federal channel in most of the local police cars so that everybody could be on the same channel at some point.
Okay, so
they have Klutz channels and some
but
other channels where you get
That's all we have is Klutz and Calcord.
So here's the deal. So for the past 10 years since 9/11, we've been trying to have an interoperable system for Contra Costa, San Francisco, and Alameda County. Never happened. Almost is happening now, finally going into the last phase of that project, and that supposedly all the agencies will be able to talk to each other from a portable. Now think about that. So that means I could go out on patrol and talk to SFPD from my PD via my portable just by switching a knob. That's pretty impressive technology to be able to do that. So if that's the case and that all works, which I've got my doubts, but that'll advance. Now, I don't know for you guys, and you guys know who you work with, I don't know if giving the guy on the street that kind of power is a good thing or not. I mean, we can't even keep on the same channel as we are. So, is that really helping the officer on the street? I don't know. But
now, for critical incidents, I mean, like, if you've got an incident like that San Bruno explosion, that pipeline explosion, where you've got multiple agencies, multiple departments having to go in there, if everybody can go to one channel, be able to hear what's going on and communicate, then it'd be worth it. Mainly just for critical incidents.
Now, hang on. Now, think about that for a second. So you have fire department, police department, public works, and everybody going to the same channel, and there's like 1,000 people at an incident like that. Would you want to be the dispatcher?
You got to break them into separate units. You can't have them all on the same channel.
No, and I think
you'd have to have police on one, fire on another, but you need a channel where all your multi-agencies can communicate and hear.
Right. It becomes a logistical problem, I think, and that's something that obviously over the years we're going to have to figure out how to implement that when we're.
Because I remember we had riots out in my city one time, and they had a bunch of agencies come in, and we're shoulder to shoulder and side by side with these guys, and I could hear what's going on with my radio, but they can't hear.
Yep.
They don't know what's going on.
Or handing out portables at the CP just to hear anybody, when you show up for a call like that or something.
Right. Hey, Ed, you'll get a kick out of, or Ed remembers this technology. How did we used to have to do photo lineups?
Oh, God, that was a nightmare. Absolute nightmare. We'd have to go through boxes of pictures and try and find people that hadn't been beaten up. and then put them in a photo lineup. Otherwise, you had to put 6 bloody people in the photo lineup and all that crazy stuff.
Ed wasn't very patient. His photo lineups would have like 2 whites and 2 Hispanics, 2 blacks.
Well, that was the photo lineups. I was laughing about that the other day, talking to somebody online about it. When you tried to do a photo lineup at the old station back in the early '90s,
Hey, you're using Polaroid photos and whatnot.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous.
Yeah, and if you had your suspect mixed anywhere in there and his picture background didn't look the same as the other 5, it was too suggestive. So you could spend hours trying to put together a photo lineup.
It was a hassle. But what's great now is everything's on a digital camera, and it goes into a data bank with all the other law enforcement agencies. It goes in county jails, all the other agencies, and all you got to do to create a photo lineup is put in some features like age, race, facial hair, whatever, and boom. 6 photos right there. If you don't like one, you delete it, and another one pops right in. It takes minutes to create a photo lineup, and some of them you can make so good, it almost looks like the same guy in all 6 pictures, So the technology's really come a long ways with that and sharing information.
Just so people know, in watching TV on the old days when you used to have to go down to the police department and look through the one-way glass at 6 guys standing there, when a suspect gets taken into custody and there's victims for crimes that the guy committed, then the investigators will go out with a photo lineup and show you, 6 similar pictures of the suspect, and hopefully you'll be able to, recall features and say, yeah, it was number 3 right there. But that saves a ton of time and a lot of hassle from the physical lineups that we used to have to do.
Yep. And remember, Ed, evidence, we go out and take photos. You take Polaroids or use a little Instamatic 110s or whatever it was, and you'd put the film into evidence to be developed. And, now everything's on digital cameras. It's all digitally uploaded into evidence. You don't even touch film or anything, just through the computers.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah. Everything's uploaded.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because I know back in the day we had to beg the sergeant, hey, Sergeant, you 98 over here with the camera so we can take pictures.
No,
okay, I'll do that in a half hour.
There's a bunch of digital cameras. We take the photos. We go into the station. We plug them into the computer. It automatically transfers them into evidence. Same thing with interviews in our interview rooms. It's all audio and visual recorded. That's automatically uploaded to evidence. If you get an interview with somebody, we all have digital recorders, little pocket recorders. Plug that into the computer. Everything's transferred automatically, and so it's a lot easier. Instead of all the physical evidence now, it's all done via the computer.
Another thing where things have greatly changed. Back in '85, I was writing full reports, whether it was crime or accident reports or DUIs. I was handwriting them on report forms, and now everything is computerized to where, the system that I think Mark uses the same one that we use at work, but writing out a report, whether it's an extensive one or not, everything is typed out. You hit spell check, and it prints out nice and neat, and all the suspect info goes into a database automatically. You can attach photos with it, so the DA just pulls up the same report system and says, yeah, give me this report number, and it prints it out complete with color photographs and everything, whereas before they used to have to go down to evidence and, yeah, I need the photos from so-and-so, and, they'd be getting a stack of Polaroid photos like Mark was saying, and the report writing system has modernized itself as well, which makes things a lot easier.
Well, it's all reviewed electronically. There's no paper at all.
Right.
Yeah, a lot of them are paperless. We still print out our reports and turn them in, but there's a lot of agencies where it's all done. It's sent to the sergeant for review. If there's corrections, it's sent back to the officer for corrections, and it's sent to the sergeant. He signs it off and sends it on to evidence. And yeah, it's paperless in a lot of systems.
Yep. That's how our whole system is now. Basically, unless you want a copy, you don't really need to print it.
I saw in the paper the other day, one of our local agencies is experimenting by putting cameras and audio on the officer's radio mic. The radio mic is clipped to his chest, and there's audio and video on that to record the whole contact with people. And that's pretty interesting now. That they're testing it out to see how it's going.
Do the tasers all have a camera with lights on it?
It's coming.
Oh, you guys don't have that yet?
Well, the new taser has a camera and lights, I think.
Oh, it does. Okay.
Ours has a light, and you could actually plug it in to download the data, how long, how many times the trigger was pulled, how long the charge was, and whatnot. It'll record that, but there's no camera on it. Another thing that they have, it's been around a little while, but it's very cool, are the bait cars. They have that TV show, Bait Car, where the suspects get in. They've got cameras in there. They've got the audio that records everything the suspects say, and they could be cruising down the road, and when the cops get behind them, on a computer, you hit a button, it automatically locks the doors, kills the engine, and everything is on tape. It's very cool. They've used that in our city a couple times. It's very cool.
Not for the bad guys.
How did it work?
Oh, it works great.
I mean, you get a lot of bites on it, or just?
It depends on where you put it. I wouldn't say a lot, but yeah, they get them. It's very cool. They have that TV show that you see it, and the suspects, everything they say. When the police cars get behind them, they're telling their partner, "Hey, just tell them that we found it here." And I mean, everything is evidence right there. And the look on their face when the engine dies and the door locks it's pretty cool. Hey, I forgot to mention one thing is on the cameras that a lot of officers can see in the city and what's going on. Go back and look at it. Some PDs already have this, but ours are going to be soon to follow. It's to hook it up to the patrol cars also, so we could access that system in our patrol car. And before let's say there's a bank robbery and that bank has a camera, the officer responding can log into that camera and actually scan it in the parking lot and look back and forth and see what's going on there before he even goes on scene. If he's going to a shooting in a bad area and there's a camera nearby, he could log onto that camera and pan into that area to see how many people are in the street. If there's any shooting going on, he'll be able to see it live in his car before he even gets there. So that's a pretty cool thing too to have.
And we haven't even mentioned in-car video.
Yeah.
So in-car
that's been around a while, though. The in-car video has been around a while, and that's helped a lot of officers.
Well, it's been around a while, but a lot of agencies never adopted it early on, and now they're finally looking at adopting it because it's been so helpful to so many departments in court cases where, I was not there. I didn't do that stupid stuff. Okay, play. Is that you? Oh, yeah. Okay,
well,
guilty.
If you take that technology up about 800 feet, the helicopter, the police helicopters of today probably have never been more modernized than what they are now. In the old days, it was just a helicopter with the pilot and an observer calling the shots from above with no technology whatsoever, almost like the old Ford Crown Vics with just a radio in it. And now they all have flare, which is the infrared. The 50 million candle power night suns, which turn any dark street into friggin' daylight.
Or if you turn them on, you can turn them on the ground and catch the ground on fire.
You literally can melt the ground. But
yeah.
The moving maps, the GPS systems, everything is just you can zoom in with the video camera from 800 feet and see a guy clear as a bell, which goes over really good with juries in court. When the dude is saying, "Hey, I wasn't there, it wasn't me," and you've got them on film running from the cops.
Where did that saying come from? Clear as a bell.
Yeah.
What are you?
Bell Helicopter. That was a plug for Bell Helicopters. Right?
I don't remember that one.
I don't know where it's come from. So in-car video. How about radar? When did we see radar?
That's actually been bumped up to LIDAR since then also with laser.
When did you see your first radar and what did it look like?
When I first started, they had the big radar guns. You get them out. It's got the dome on the front of it and they plug into the patrol car, the cigarette lighter.
Yeah, you pull the trigger, the battery would be dead, and so would your sex life. That one.
You'd hear this thing humming and vibrating, and your FTO would say, "Hey, don't use that; you'll get cancer." And it's like you almost feel the heat radiating.
It's like holding a microwave oven outside the window. Yeah, that one. Yeah. So now
we went to the LIDAR, the laser, and that's pretty cool. They're handheld, they're wireless, they just have batteries in them, and man, you could pick out a motorcycle in a group of semis and be very accurate. The beam is super narrow, and you look through a little viewfinder, and it's got a little red dot on it like a rifle scope, and man, you just put it on what you want, and it's great. There's really no fight in a radar laser ticket in court. Really hard to fight.
There's really no way to detect laser well that you can do it fast enough with any radar detector too. So
right.
That's a bummer. But
yeah.
What can you do? Well, what other technology have you guys seen? Any other major changes that have made your guys' jobs easier over the years?
Well, just the equipment that you put in, Brent. When I first started, like Jim said, the lights were, pretty crude. And I think we ended up going to, we thought it was the greatest thing since sliced bread. CHP had them. It's like they called them cherries and berries. The seven globes up on top or whatever. You had the white one in the center, and they each kind of rotated, so you got 7 different lights going, and that was kind of cool. And then we went to a different light bar, and I think what we have now is a really low profile, the LEDs, and I'm telling you could see those things a mile away. Our motorcycles have them too, and they are just, you could see them 6 blocks up in the daylight. The lights are so bright. Really good visibility on the new lighting equipment of today.
Yeah, I agree, since it's all my equipment.
Little plug for Brent there.
But, and that's really, CHP being one of the largest agencies, not only in California, but in the entire nation, they do a ton of testing on that kind of stuff. So, when we actually went and dealt with that whole deal, the testing is, it's astronomical. It literally was 6 months of testing. So when other people adapt to those systems, that's, there's a lot of testing that goes behind that. But really, nowadays, everything's about low profile. Everything's about blending in. Everything's about being really bright for the day shift guy and being able to not be overpowering at night, because now we're getting so bright that, at what point, is it too bright, I guess?
Oh, yeah. I had my lights on the other night, and, it's 10 o'clock at night, and I had the lights on the overheads, and people are walking by shielding their, their eyes, saying, damn, that's bright. And it is. Those LEDs at nighttime are bright.
But that helps all of us for safety, too. So,
or when you go to court, it's kind of hard for the guy to say, I didn't see the lights behind me.
Well,
bring a video to court. That'd make great evidence.
Right. And
but the other thing too, when you're in a pursuit, some of the old chippy cars just had a solid red spotlight in the front with no light bar, the flat tops.
Yep.
And when you're in a pursuit and you T-bone some lady in an intersection, even though you have the right of way, and she didn't see you and pulls out in front of you, and there's a fatality, that causes a department, and the family a whole lot of grief. But now with even on unmarked cars, the side lighting that is hidden but is more than visible when it's activated. That LED technology is just incredible.
Oh, we just got 2 new cars. They're slick tops, and they have lights mounted on the sides of the bumper bars up front. They have the lights mounted up on the rear view mirror that angles out to both sides. They have the lights on both mirrors, and they have lights mounted on the center post in the center of the car pointing out. So even though it's a slick top, when they hit those lights, man, they're just lights everywhere. So yeah, it's not like the old days where you had one little red light on a spotlight.
Well, and there's a huge problem with newer cars, and I don't mean cop cars, I mean civilian cars, and that's the fact that when you get into your new car and you slam the door and you roll the windows up and you turn the stereo on, you can't hear anything outside. So they're completely sealed. And then we have the issue of people not being able to hear sirens, people not pulling over for cops, doing all that. Well, drive down the street and you can know why, because now we're talking about putting more sirens on these vehicles, more amplifiers, running dual tones, running low frequency tones, which is a whole new thing that just came out. So you have to try to get through the technology that every person has in their new car to make it quiet on the road is now hindering cops because they can't get the siren into where the person is in the car itself.
Well, I think we've all done that, because a lot of times your siren, you're almost out driving your siren at times, and we've all come flying up to a car that's just cruising down the road, and you're saying, get out of the way, get out of the way, yelling it out in your own car. And it seems like the person just doesn't know you're there. And then when you get right up on them, behind them, then all of a sudden they could hear you and whatnot. But yeah, when you're even in my own car, driving home from work or going to work, I'll hear a siren, but by then the guy's already up on me or going the other way. It's not like you hear it a long distance away coming. Right. It just, all of a sudden it's there.
Yeah, I mean, the latest thing is multiple speakers, multiple amplifiers, so you can run a whale tone and a yelp tone at the same time.
Maybe some soft music.
Yeah, I mean, or Ride of the Valkyries, like in, that movie. So there's all sorts of cool things that you can do now to try to gain attention. But, I mean, changing light patterns, doing all that kind of stuff. But still, the head-up butt driver, they don't see anything.
Speaking of that, Ed, we have something new also with our department. It's called rubber gloves, so you don't grab some used vibrator out of the back seat of a car that
Thanks for ruining the whole show.
Well, they had those back in the day too, but they were little leather ones.
So what'd you
leather
grab
vibrator?
It for? So what'd you grab it for then?
Well, because I didn't know what it was a dildo, for crying out loud.
We wanted to see it. So, all right, so we can wrap it up. Other than that, any other new technology that you guys or your departments might be looking at?
I think the non-lethal stuff's pretty incredible. Back in the day, either the fight was on or you ended up shooting somebody, and now they've got less lethal rounds with the 40s where they shoot a beanbag round out of a shotgun.
Right.
You just can't mistake a real shotgun round for it.
Yeah, that's something you got to be careful with. But the new technology now, you definitely know when you know what you have.
Tasers are the greatest thing since sliced bread. I've had to use my taser.
They have rounds that are actually nets, for shooting a suspect that's fleeing. I mean, the technology for non-lethal apprehensions is
go gadget.
Well, and I got to say that most of this non-lethal technology is coming from military use and then making its way down to law enforcement. So it's a lot of, I think technology is just going to continue to change drastically over the next 10 to 15 years.
Well, if anybody listening, I'm sure this is a boring show compared to what a lot of ours is. It might have interested some people, but if there's any officers out there listening,
might be the best show we've ever done.
Or military, or even citizens that saw something new technology, email us. Let us know what it is, or if it's an officer somewhere, let us know what you're using out there.
Speaking of email, a buddy of mine sent me this, and it absolutely has nothing to do with police work, but being that we're talking about this in this show, it only takes a minute to read, so I'm going to read it because it's so true. But this guy was capping on how easy the youth of today has it, compared to how it was. And what's scary is I actually remember everything that's in this. But he starts off saying, when I was a kid, we didn't have the internet. If we wanted to know something, we had to go to the damn library and look it up ourselves using the card catalog. There was no email. We had to actually write somebody a letter with a pen. Then you had to walk all the way across the street and put it in the mailbox, and it would take a week to get there. Stamps were 10 cents. Child Protective Services didn't care if our parents beat us. As a matter of fact, the parents of all my friends also had permission to kick our ass. Nowhere was safe to go. There were no MP3s or Napsters or iTunes. If you wanted to steal music, you had to hitchhike to the record store and shoplift it yourself and take your chances. Or you had to wait around all day to tape it off the radio, and the DJ would usually talk over the beginning and end and screw it all up. There were no CD players. We had tape decks in our cars. We played our favorite tapes and eject it when it was done, and then the tape would become undone, rendering it useless, because that's how we rolled. We didn't have fancy crap like call waiting. If you were on the phone and somebody else called, they just got a busy signal. That was it. There weren't any friggin' cell phones either. If you left the house, you just didn't make a damn call or receive one. You actually had to be out of touch with your friends. Oh my gosh. Think of the horror not being in touch with someone 24/7. And then there's texting. Yeah, right. You kids have no idea how annoying you are. We didn't have fancy caller ID either. When the phone rang, you had no idea who it was. It could be your school, your parents, your boss, your bookie, your drug dealer, the collection agent. You just didn't know. You had to pick it up and take your chances. We didn't have any fancy PlayStation or Xbox video games with high-resolution 3D graphics. We had the Atari 2600 with games like Space Invaders and Asteroids. Your screen guy was a little square, and you had to use your imagination. There were no multiple levels or screens. It was just one screen forever, and you could never win. The game just kept getting harder and harder and faster until you died, just like life. Yeah. You had to use a little book called the TV Guide to find out what was on. You were screwed when it came to a channel surfing. You had to get off your ass and walk over to the TV to change the channel. No remotes. Oh no, what's the world coming to? There was no Cartoon Network either. You could only get cartoons on Saturday morning. Do you hear what I'm saying? We all had to wait all week for cartoons, you spoiled little rat bastards. And we didn't have microwaves. If we wanted to heat something up, we had to use the stove. Imagine that. And our parents told us to stay outside and play all day long. Oh no, no electronics to soothe and comfort, and if you came back inside, you were doing chores. And car seats, oh please. Mom threw you in the back seat and you hung on, and if you were lucky, you got the safety arm across the chest at the last minute if she had to stop suddenly. And if your head hit the dashboard, well, that was your fault for calling shotgun in the first place. Anyway, just it brings back a lot of memories, because when Mark and I grew up, and probably Ed and maybe even Brent at the tail end of that, I grew up carrying a couple dimes in my pocket to use in a payphone to call home in case there was ever an emergency or anything like that.
You say dimes or dime bags? Sorry, I just.
Thanks for ruining the show twice. It's good.
Man,
So,
what happened to Jim?
Jim?
Just fell off with that one.
Jim, you were what?
Anyway, thanks, JJ, for emailing that to me. It brought back a lot of good memories, and it's very true. And as I responded to him in the email, I almost miss those days. Things have gotten very technical, and there are a lot of conveniences, but man, life was simple back in the early days.
There was a
It's
lot.
true. The kids of today are spoiled. Totally spoiled with everything they have.
Well, most kids of today have never grown up without the internet.
You see kids in elementary school and junior high with a full function phone, unlimited internet, text, you name it. And it's just amazing that, what they have. If it was me, they'd have a prepaid phone card, with maybe 10 minutes on it. But
Yeah, but you come
it's
from the era of
technology.
having a payphone. We don't have payphones anymore.
or a prepaid phone with 10 minutes on it for an emergency. But, technology, it changes things, and sometimes it creates problems in its wake.
And if I had kids, I'd let them do whatever they wanted until they screwed up once, and then they wouldn't have anything.
Yeah. No, that made a lot of sense, Jim, and it does bring back memories the way it was. And a lot of people,
No, dude, you can't backpedal now after that smart-ass comment. No, it's too late. You can't compliment it now. The moment's gone.
The moment's gone.
You ruined Jim. Jim is now leaving.
You carrying a dime or a dime bag?
In the mood.
Jim is now in a bitterer mood.
Anyway.
Yeah, you thwarted the moment.
Oh, boy.
Oh, God. Anyway, why don't we give somebody quick tips or something to end the show?
Here's one. Don't be stupid.
Don't come to Arizona and do crimes, you'll get shot.
Oh, that's no kidding.
Don't ride a Harley if you want to get to where you're going.
Oh.
Hey, Iron Warriors out there, you know who this guy is, don't you? Okay.
Send your emails to jim@coptalk.info.
Yeah, and then when you ride past him, just flip him off when he's sitting on the side of the freeway.
Yeah. Yeah.
So-
Anyway, hey, people, there's a lot of crime still going on everywhere. Times are hard. People are getting desperate. Every night they're walking through neighborhoods, trying car doors, trying windows of houses, trying doors. If you got away with leaving your windows open so far, sooner or later, you're going to become a victim. Take the precautions. Putting motion lights and all that stuff is great to keep people away. But in the meantime, just lock your doors, your houses, your cars. Don't leave anything in plain view. Sooner or later, you're going to become a victim. So
That's a good point, Mark, because a close friend of mine, she posted on Facebook how, a couple nights ago, she made a mistake and left the car unlocked. And in the morning, they discovered that someone had gone through it, and there were papers and everything, strewn about in the car. But the garage door opener was still there, and, they felt pretty lucky that all that was gone was like a phone charger cord. It almost sounded like kids did it, but what people don't realize, she made it sound like, God, I can't believe this happened, but people got to realize it happens every night. Kids, adults. They're walking in the darkness with backpacks, and all they're looking for is unlocked cars. They don't want to use a brick through a window or make noise or anything like that. And you make it easy by leaving your stuff unlocked, whether it's a garage door or a residence door or a vehicle. So lock everything up.
It doesn't matter where you live. There is no Mayberry anymore. I mean, whether it's an affluent community or not, a crime-ridden area, it just doesn't matter. It happens everywhere, every night. And so just take precautions. Lock your stuff up. And I think Jim had a lock it or lose it, was it? You say in the book a lot, and it's true. Ed, any closing notes?
No, nothing.
You sitting in your car doing the show again?
No. The wife has the car tonight.
Oh, okay.
I'm trying to find the story on that shooting you're talking about over there at the Cow Palace in the San Francisco Examiner, but I can't find it.
Oh, it was in the Contra Costa Times.
Oh, was it?
Yeah.
Well, just to close out then, just a quick note to all the neighbors and the people who acted very heroic for that San Bruno thing. A lot of people were saved because of the actions of a lot of people in that neighborhood, and that's, there's nothing that we really can say to, say thanks for that, and those people I'm sure can't say it either, but a lot of people, well, luckily, not a lot of people were killed, but a lot of property loss.
Yeah, it's kind of funny. Some people were casting blame at a certain area, but you got to realize, people, half the ground that your house is built on, or business is built on, or streets are built on, are over gas lines. So, this is literally something that could have happened anywhere. And there were a lot of alert neighbors or people that apparently tried to report this to PG&E, and for whatever reason they were unable to locate the actual source, and this stuff just kept building and building and building till it ignited. But don't just think that this was one area where, with earthquakes that we have and everything else, this could happen any place, anytime. It can be even more catastrophic than it was.
Yeah, and I don't even.
PG&E already has a list saying that there's high risk areas already. This area was on a high risk list, and they have a list of areas where this same thing can happen.
Yeah, but let's not blow this out of proportion, because the next thing that you don't want is to have some congressperson, oh wait, they're already doing it, saying that they want to release all this information to the public, because as soon as you start releasing your infrastructure to the public, you start releasing the potential that all those public infrastructure pieces are going to be exploited by terrorist type actions or sabotage, or a guy that's pissed off because he can't pay his bill, all these different types of things. So this is a huge catch-22 situation. Most of these gas lines are in way before the homes, and most of these problems that they say that they're having out there could easily be related to the fact that, we live in an earthquake zone. So, there's a lot of investigation that needs to happen, and hopefully we'll follow that as it goes along and talk about it.
All right.
Well, I'd like to say on a brighter note, but it's not. It's actually on a grim note. But we just had 9/11 over the weekend, and just got to give a shout out to all the guys and girls that are in the armed forces, both over here and overseas. The cops, the firemen, everyone that was affected by that whole ordeal. Not only everyone across the United States, but in particular those in New York. And our prayers, as always, this time of year are with you. And we got through it. I think we got stronger. And I hope it never happens again.
Continuing to get stronger, I think, too.
Yep.
Well,
on that note,
works for me. We'll see everybody next week.
All right. Stay safe, everyone.
Bye, Ed.
Mark, good luck with the bed bug sores.
Oh, that comes off your Harley, so you know.
I'm just saying.